Location, location. I was going to move, but now I'm not. The past 2 weeks have been a real whirlwind. I decided that I was going to move the boutique and my workspace to somewhere else. I'm glad that I gave myself the 2 weeks between verbally saying that I wanted the space to at the actual date when I was due to pay my deposit and my advance rent. Why did I want to move in the first place? So basically, I have this space here in Halesowen Town Centre, which is really convenient for me. I'd always felt a bit guilty about that because it's actually quite difficult to get to Halesowen on public transport. So if people were coming to see me from out of the area, out of the West Midlands or Birmingham, maybe from Manchester or London, you would have to come into Birmingham city centre and then come back out again. And I didn't feel inclined, if somebody was coming for a bespoke piece, I didn't really feel inclined to say to somebody, you just need to hop on the number 9 bus. There is a choice of 3 different car parks all around me, so that's not a problem. And people really like the fact that the car park is so close. And also, although I've got this place set out like a boutique, because this end of the town centre is pretty quiet, I don't really get any footfall. I don't really get people coming up to see me just on spec. And so I don't really get much off the rails sales. So in the situation I'm in, I very much rely on internet sales. So my website store, my Etsy store, my Depop store. And that's great. I've made a living from selling online. There is a real kind of, I don't know whether it's my age, but I suspect it's not. It doesn't really feel real unless you have a bricks and mortar space and people are coming in as customers. I know that's kind of an old-fashioned way of shopping because more and more people shop online. But I've actually seen a lot of younger people with small businesses, people in their 20s and 30s, who are really experiencing a kind of internet fatigue. Nobody really likes selling online because it's just non-personal and non kind of face-to-face, people looking at, touching the garments, trying them on, all that kind of thing that you associate with the shopping experience when it comes to clothing. So all these things have always been like a frustration to me. So where was I going to go? So last year I did a small stand, a wall space at the Red Brick Market. It always paid for itself in that respect, but I didn't really get any big sales, any quantity of sales, and I didn't get a lot of people contacting me via the website from my details. So I did the 6 months, said thank you very much. The staff there are just brilliant, absolutely lovely, so helpful, so enthusiastic. When the Oasis Market closed in the city centre on Corporation Street, a lot of the traders from there flooded down to the Red Brick to rent spaces. And I was already thinking about having a walk-in shop space there, but I missed the boat. and so they put me on a waiting list, and they offered me a space which was an open space which faced a skincare brand. And I thought, that's kind of cute. When I went to have a look, there was a space that was empty. And because I knew that there was a waiting list and I might miss the boat, I just said, that space, is it free? And the manager said to me, oh, that's come free this morning. And I said, I'll have it. So we verbally agreed that I would have that space. He'd put my name on it. I would go in and sign the contract, and I'd pay from the middle of August to give me time to move from here to there, decorate it, do marketing, advertising, whatever, and then open at the beginning of September. This will be where I do my appointments. It'll be where I do my videos, and it'll be where people can shop in person with me. I will be manning it a few days a week. So excited. I'm so glad I came in person. So yeah, this is going to be House of Burbo. So I told my landlord here that I was moving. However, I'm really glad that I gave myself that 2 weeks before I made any payments to really think about it and talk about it with some of my really loyal long-term clients. So the plan was I would have my workspace back at home because I've got a workroom at home, but in the few years that I've been here, that space had just become like a dumping ground. It's a utility room. I cleared all that, got rid of loads of junk and rubbish, and you know, the scrap man loves me now. That was going to be in my workroom at home, and then at the Red Brick was going to be my shop. More central for clients to come to, somewhere that I would be selling all week long because it's open 7 days a week. Almost like a kind of department store where you go into different places and then you go to the main payment desk and pay for everything there. So you don't have to man it, but you can if you want. So then I toyed with the idea of maybe putting a sewing machine in there and doing some work there so that people could come talk to me about my work and what I'm making and that kind of thing. And that was going to be the setup. Digbeth is great. And it is known as the creative quarter in Birmingham. You've got the Custard Factory, you've got the Red Brick Market, you've got lots of creative businesses there, lots of creative spaces, galleries, that kind of thing, music events, nightclubs, all that kind of stuff. But Digbeth, the official word is edgy. If you look online, ask, is Digbeth safe, or which are the least safe areas of Birmingham, Digbeth comes up. At this time of year, in August, when it's daylight until 8:30 in the evening, probably not a big problem. However, when it comes to December and it goes dark at 4 o'clock and you're open till 6, I wouldn't want lone women to be coming for appointments with me in that area. Even though the market is amazing and the people are amazing and all the rest of it, it's like a little oasis of creativity and art and vintage and all the things that you want. But the high street itself can be dicey, not just for me, but for my clients. And that was my main concern. And we live in a time, you know, the social temperature in this country, and there's lots of demonstrations and protests and all sorts of things going on around the country. And another issue which I was then thinking about was the market as a whole, and other clothing retailers in there are not my price point. And that's not any kind of like shade on them, because if people are buying in or making and they're comfortable with their price point and their profit margin, then that's good luck to them, and it's a brilliant space to do that in. But it's not my price point. So when thinking about staying and thinking about the positives of staying, people do like to come here. People do like to come to a small market town. The parking's a stone's throw away, relatively cheap. This is a private space. It's not like if I'd been in the red brick market, I would have to have built a curtain across for people to get changed, for people to try things on when I was doing appointments. But you're still in a busy kind of multi-use area, whereas this is a private space. And also, even though the town is pretty quiet on a daily basis, there are lots of events that the Hale's Owen Bid organise, and they're very, very supportive. And there are quite a lot of small independent businesses here who I've got to know, have become friends, and there is a sense of community here. People do send, from other businesses, people do send people to me, and myself vice versa. It's a relatively safe town. So I decided not to go. I was a little bit sad about it because I was excited about having a new space and it being a new chapter. But then I realised as well something about myself that quite a lot of businesses do, and I've fallen into the trap a few times of doing it myself. And it's almost like a performative expression for your business. So it's kind of like, oh, look what I'm doing, look what's new in my business, look what I've done, look at this new area and this new era in my business, rather than actually concentrating on the product, the service, improving the product, and basically at the end of the day, new designs, new products, new offers, which is basically all that people are interested in. It doesn't really make much difference to them where you are. So I looked myself hard in the mirror when I looked at that, because I am quite a performative person. I like to present, wear my own neck in, and I talk to a lot of my regulars, legacy clients almost, that people that have been with me from day one. They were all like, we don't care where you are, we'll still come to you, we'll still follow you on all your socials and your subscriptions and all that kind of thing, and we'll still buy from you. It doesn't matter where you are. So yeah, staying put, buckle down, concentrate on the design, concentrate on the items, the development of the items, the development of the design, and stop being so performative about it all. It can get sucked into with having to do social media so much, because you're constantly thinking about new ways to capture people's attention and keep people's attention. New. People are interested in my ethos and my my processes and my ideas behind why I do what I do, and the inspirations of the things that I do, all that kind of thing. So yeah, so I'm staying put, and I'm very slowly going to have a look at other outlets, keep my head down and work on my work, and not so much on the kind of showbiz side of running a business. On the plus side, I have also now got a workroom, an empty workroom at home that I can use if I'm really busy and I want to take some work home, or even if I just don't want to leave the house. I've spoken to obviously my landlord here and my colleagues here in the other spaces and the people who I told in the town, and everybody's been so supportive and so pleased that I'm staying. So that's really warmed my heart. But also, on the flip side of that, people were really pleased for me that I was moving on and developing as well. And the amount of people who offered help, you know, if you need a van, if you need a car, if you need any moving, if you need any help decorating, all that kind of stuff, the amount of help and support that I had offered was just incredible. So I shall remain at Hagley Road for the foreseeable future. I hope you've enjoyed that kind of explanation and that kind of deep dive into the kind of the cogs that turn round in the wheel of the small business brain and the pros and cons. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Please comment if you think I've made a huge mistake, or if you think I've done the right thing, or whatever else. Please comment below. The next video won't be so long because for the past 2 weeks all I've been thinking about is moving, but I can now reconcentrate on my YouTube channel. So new subscribers, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.